My name's Kai the Carbuncle and welcome to my guide for Library of Chaos in Tarisland. After clearing the first trash packs, you're going to come to the first boss of the dungeon, the Library Director. At around 35 seconds into the fight, the boss will do his first mechanic. He will drag everyone in the group towards him and then do a point blank AoE, so get ready to run away. So here's the first main mechanic of the fight, the intermission phase. The boss will knock everyone away from him. He will spawn a book in the middle and turn everyone into sheep, and then spawn in 5 wolves into the middle of the arena. Then wolves will each target a player and start to chase them. You have to run away and avoid getting caught by any of the wolves. If you are caught, the wolf will kill you for the rest of the intermission phase, and if all players die, then you wipe. As long as one player survives this, you are fine. Just basically go to a pillar and run around it, you should be fine. So there's nothing really notable in the fight until the second intermission phase, where again you get knocked back. Inside the middle of the room, a little girl will spawn and she will have some matchsticks to her left, right, front and back. You basically have to protect the matchsticks from being destroyed by the demons who will spawn in. They spawn in the same pattern every time, so as you can see on screen, they will be spawning in and I'll be waiting to camp spawn them. Just DPS him down and that's the end of the first boss. Between the first and second boss there's 3 notable adds. The first is a water add, which is basically just spread from the group, don't stand next to anyone else or on top of anyone else. And fire add, which will just do raid wide damage to the whole group. And then an earth add, which again is don't stack with another player. After clearing the trash we come to the second boss, Doomsday Judge. So this boss has 3 main mechanics, and throughout the fight he will do 2 of the 3, usually at the same time. The first mechanic he has is a 90-degree cleave on the tank. So I'd suggest pulling the boss towards a wall and aiming him away from the group. The second mechanic he has is a prison on a random player. This player just needs to be DPS'd out of the prison as fast as possible. And the last mechanic he has is elemental orbs. These will spawn around the edge of the arena of 3 elements: fire, earth and water. You need to collect all of the orbs of the largest element. 2 elements will be small, 1 element will be large. Usually the way I do this is I pull the boss to the wall, tank him there, I deal with the orbs closest to that wall, and let the DPS and healer worry about all of the orbs coming in from the far side of the arena. Finish him off, enjoy the cutscene and move on to the next trash. So for the next trash packs you want to focus the ad holding open the portal. That will stop all of the other ads spawning, and the special thing about these is once you kill them they will drop elemental orbs on the ground. The first one will drop a fire orb, which will increase the amount of damage you deal. The second one will drop a lightning orb, which will give you a little AoE around your character, which will deal damage to any enemies that come close. And then the last one will give you a nature orb, which will give you a movement speed increase and also reduce the cooldown of your abilities. So welcome to the final boss of the first elite dungeon, the Doom Reaper. This boss has a few mechanics. The first one is he will target every player in the group for a little tiny AoE, so just don't stack with another player. His frontal attack will cleave, so point him away from the group. But his main mechanic comes in a little spinning disc he spawns, which will fly around the arena, and if you get touched by it, it will do quite a fair amount of damage, so just avoid it as it flies around. His other main attack is he will do a knockback from the centre of the room. He will then target 1 random player and charge in their direction. Simple, if you see him target you, move. For the boss's intermission, he will spawn everyone into the void realm, and then waves of enemies will keep spawning for 1 minute. You just have to survive. There are enemies in here who will drop the nature buff from the previous ads, which will reduce all your cooldowns and give you a movement speed increase, which you can see by the footage makes this extremely easy. For the second phase of the boss, it is pretty much exactly the same as the first phase, except for the spinning disc will sit in the middle of the room and shoot out tiny projectiles towards the edge of the room. I find the easiest way of dodging this to pull the boss all the way to the edge, so you have the biggest gap to dodge the incoming projectiles. Finish up the boss, and congratulations on completing your first elite dungeon of Tarisland.